Hello and welcome back to Unreal 1 Part 22. We are still in the Dasa Mountain Pass Cellars, and there are more fish to shoot.
Fishy fish.
Evil carnivorous fish.
I wanted to ask you earlier, Gerda, what's new in the life? How are you doing?
Still pretty grievously annoyed and angered at the fact that I sent us back 3 months by attempting to do it up.
Yeah. This is like what I enjoy about these is that like these are their own genre of videos. Like the situation is totally different. If this was candid, then we wouldn't be talking about half of the shit that we're talking about right now.
Yeah, we'd actually be attempting to focus on the gameplay as opposed to the philosophies and contributions of literary techniques and the artist work.
Not to mention that the novelty of seeing these for the first time also should be quite present because I can't remember any of these fucking parts, or levels, or things in general, except the fight mechanics.
But that's not to say that these parts necessarily are boring or the game is bad. No, the game is awesome, but we have already been through these before, and the stink of not necessarily deja vu, but
Deja vu.
yes, I totally said deja vu. Sorry.
That is awesome.
The stink of repetition is still lingering there, as though we're an actual sin.
Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is, we suck. This game is awesome. We suck.
Well, I suck. You did not contribute.
Anyway.
This particular... When we did this the last time, I was still unable to figure out if this was a cassowary or not. Not the bird, but the underground water-based structure that is not a sewer.
I do vaguely remember getting lost in like a water labyrinth where you could drown and die.
We have scuba gear, so we're not good.
Well, you're definitely breathing as though you need a breath of fresh air when you pop up.
Yes. Now that is because the game doesn't actually have a tag for disabling that while we have scuba gear equipped.
Nah. Woo! It's the exact same soundbite over and over again.
Yes, it is.
Well, we forgive Unreal for that.
We do, because it's a 90s game. A late 90s game, but a 90s game.
You know, maybe they don't have time to come up with 1,000 different footstep sounds for when you're walking around.
Or, you know, having the exact same Wooloo sound played for each monk despite its civilization.
So, as I recall from the later parts which we don't have to undo, which, you know, you folks at home will see when we do get to them, we are approaching the mothership.
We are, but we're like a full hour away from that at the moment.
Because, you know, you can't just go to McDonald's corporate. You have to go through every single one of their commissaries and destroy their shit.
Well, not every single one, but a good portion of them. We do end up fucking the Scar base of operations on the poly pretty hard. Not as hard as we honestly should have, but that's mostly because we don't know where all of the important pieces honestly are.
I mean,
we don't really care that the Scar are here. We're just trying to leave.
We're just trying to leave, yeah, and we're just incidentally, like, throwing a monkey into everything they're doing. Because, hey, man, supply lines brought down the Third Reich. When they extended into Russia, they couldn't get their shit going, and their supplies got destroyed, and they couldn't be used anymore. That's what we're doing. We're
Speaking
destroying...
of Russia in video games, do you recall ever doing the Battle of Stalingrad in any particular military games?
I think Call of Duty 2 for the 360 did the Battle of Stalingrad. Was that just one battle?
The Battle of Stalingrad is honestly a very famous and rather lengthy fight between the Nazis and the Russians. There is a particular. Ooh, this door opened finally. Finally, I'll start reading. But there's a particular famous thing that several interpretations of the Battle of Stalingrad have brought out, where the Russian forces were heavily overmanned but under-equipped. So units would be sent out as groups of 2 people. One guy that had a weapon, and the other guy that had the ammo. And they were told, when he dies, you take his gun and you keep firing.
And when he dies, you take his ammo and keep firing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Essentially.
Well, that would have been a really cool mechanic if they used that in Call of Duty 2. I think the closest thing to the Battle of wait, it's coming back to me now. I think the Battle of Stalingrad was one of the last sequences that you play while as Vasily the Russian. It's you go to this building that's overlooking like a city, but there's this wide open area in front of you, and that's where the enemies come through. So you have the option of either killing the enemies as they approach by shooting out the windows, or waiting for them to come into the building and then killing them as they arrive.
And honestly, waiting for them to enter the building is probably the better option, assuming they don't have high explosives.
It's safer, but if you can get overrun if too many of them show up at once.
Okay.
Versus...
Is it possible to balance out between the 2 strategies?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. If the hallway's clear, then you go back to the window and you keep firing on... I think you had to kill mortar crews in that mission, actually. Your mission was...
high explosives.
Yes. Explosives are everywhere. They make things so much easier in war. You don't have to be accurate. You just have to fire.
That's not entirely true. I mean, it's certainly partially true, but it's untrue to a point where it really depends on the quality of explosive that you're using. That does not do the thing that I want it to do. That opens this door as opposed to the thing that I want it to do, which is open up the barricade for the sewer entrance. This level has too many goddamn switches.
When you pulled the switch before that switch, I thought that the cross up towards the ceiling was going to fall down like it was a secret entrance.
But no, that is not what happened.
That was not what happened, no.
Lots of saving, lots of saving.
So where's the wine in this cellar?
There are no wines in the cellar because that's a totally different level that I think passed.
Yeah. See that? There's alcohol even on alien worlds.
I mean, it's quite likely that it's alcohol, to be perfectly honest, but I'm not entirely sure. This is another case of there are a lot of enemies here, and you have to kill a certain number of them before the door opens.
I do enjoy these sections at least, albeit they are difficult.
I would prefer this if the pillars specifically weren't here, if this were actually a more open.
Yeah.
But I end up using the pillars for defense as well as displacement. A large portion of the time, but then that happens a lot. Where
you got melee
the
attacks.
mercenaries just drop down from behind you.
And it's easier to get surprised because there are a lot of blind spots.
Yep. Verticality is actually one of the things that Unreal 1 does really, really well.
What, like lobbing projectiles?
No, not artillery, but the levels have a certain degree of different levels of altitude to them.
Oh,
I mean, if I could actually get up to the crosswalk up there, I could actually fight the Scar mercenaries down here rather effectively.
You got a point there. There's a high emphasis on like vertical movement versus horizontal movement.
Well, not versus, but along with, honestly. This game actually uses its environments very well. as opposed to, honestly, I want to say Quake. I want to say Quake 1. Although Quake 1 also had similar design mentality, if not as great of execution. Have you ever played the original Quake, dude?
I have not, unfortunately.
I only remember a couple of particular instances from the original Quake, like the first cyber level, taking down the Demon Queen, and your first encounter with the Shambler. Shambler is scary.
It sounds scary. It sounds like a zombie.
It's not a zombie, but it's an abomination.
Ah, one of those things.
You see, it's the Shambler is this large white behemoth fucker that has these very sharp and needly claws on each hand, and it can actually condense raw electrical energy into those claws and fire it at you. But the real thing that is worrisome about the Shambler is that they're very fast, but they also don't make noises when they're moving, but they're constantly growling. So, I'm about to do something very stupid here.
You're about to fall in the pit.
Yes, I am about to fall into the pit. Whee!
Oh, you're
and it's
dead.
been so long since I've saved. Here's the end of the part. I have to go through this goddamn room again.
And in the next
I am
part,
so very frustrated.
we will go through this goddamn room again. While also going through this goddamn room again.
In the next part.
In the next part.